Welcome to part 2 of the discussion video on activity-based costing and activity-based management. So for this video, we will be discussing a practical application of the concepts we have learned on activity-based costing. So let's proceed with the activity-based costing problems. So let me read first. Lakers company uses ABC. The company produces two products, Miami and Heat. The annual production and sales volume of Miami is 8,000 units and Heat 6,000. There are three activity cost pools with the following expected activities and estimated total costs. So binigyan ka ng detalye on activity 1, 2, and 3 being the activity cost pool. Merong cost per activity. Then the expected activity for Miami, expected activity for Heat, and then your total. The requirement is to compute for the cost per unit of Miami and Heat. So gumagamit si Lakers Company ng activity-based costing. Under activity-based costing, ina-assign natin yung cost kung saan it depends on the activity na na-generate doon sa particular activity na yon. So for example, under the traditional costing, halimbawa itong activity 1, 20,000, it will just be divided into 2. 20,000 divided by 20,000 will just be divided into Miami and Heat. So tig 10,000 sila under the traditional costing. However, pag tiningnan mo, mas marami yung activity on Heat. So ibig sabihin, it is inequitable, there is a discrepancy kung ganun ang gagawin natin because ang tendency niyan ay lalaki ang expenses on Miami at liliit naman ang expenses for the Heat, yung product. So hindi magiging reliable ang estimates on product cost. So under the product costing, we shall proportionately allocate yung yung cost based on the activity level. So can we compute for the cost of per unit of Miami and Heat? So how do we compute? For activity 1 muna, i-allocate mo tong 20,000 based on activity. So 20,000 times 100 divided by 500. So yung cost, yung proportional allocation ang gagawin. 20,000 times 100 over 500 plus 37,000 times 800 over 1,000. 91,200 times 800 divided by 3,800. So, yung mako-compute mong sagot doon, that will be your total cost for Miami. Dahil inallocate mo itong cost na to for Miami. Ang tinatanong is the cost per unit of Miami in Heat. So, yung cost na mako-compute mo doon, i-divide mo lang sa volumes ng Miami, which is 8,000. So the cost per unit of Miami is 6.6. So siguro i-compute habang ginagawa natin habang dinidiscuss itong video, you can compute on your own para ma-check if tama yung solutions or tama yung computation and for your practice also. So the same is true for Heat. 20,000 times 400 divided by 500 plus 37,000 times 200 divided by 1,000 plus 91,200 times 3,000 over 3,800. So makukuha mong cost doon, yun yung total cost ni Heat for activity 1, 2, and 3. Since ang tinatanong is the cost per unit, yung total cost na mako-compute mo when adding all those costs, i-divide mo sa production of Heat na 6,000 units. You will be arriving at 15.9 per unit. So that is the illustration number 1. So let's go with illustration number 2. San Juan Company produces two products, product K, and GG. It uses a costing system in which all overhead is accumulated in a single cost pool and allocated based on machine hours. So yan yung original na costing niya. Nag-allocate, ina-accumulate niya lahat ng cost into one cost pool and then ina-accumulate niya in one cost pool and then ina-allocate niya based on machine hours. The company's management has decided to implement ABC. So since nakakita sila siguro ng issues on the traditional costing, they decided to implement ABC because a cost study has revealed significant amounts of overhead costs related to setup and design. So masyadong malaki yung overhead cost related to setup and design na dapat i-allocate proportionately across the products. The number of setups, ito yun, and design hours, ito yun, will be the activity drivers for the two new cost pools. And machine hours will continue as the base of allocating the remaining overhead. So, anong sinasabing two new cost pools dito? Yun yung setup activity and design activity. So, yun yung two new cost pools and the activity drivers para doon ay yung number of setups and design hours. So, selected information, binigay sa iyo, units produced, direct material cost, machine hours, direct labor cost, setups, design hours. So, let's proceed with ano ba ang requirement. So, binigyan ka pa rito ng overhead. Setup related, 250, design related, 350, others, 900. So, ito yung indirect cost na i-allocate mo later. So, requirement is to compute for the total and per unit cost reported for the two products by the existing costing system and under the ABC system naman on requirement number 2. So, paano gagawin? Compute for the total and per unit cost reported for the two products under the existing costing. Ano ba ang existing costing? Yung traditional. Ang sabi dito, they accumulate overhead in a single cost pool and allocated based on machine hours. Ang tinatanong is your total cost reported for the two products. So kapag total cost ang tinutukoy, ibig sabihin this is the summation of your direct material, direct labor, and your overhead. So sa direct material, under the existing costing, walang problema dahil nakasegregate na yan. Direct material, 100,000. Direct labor, 50,000 for KK. Then for GG naman, 310,000. Direct labor cost niya, 350,000. Ito yon. Yan. So, the problem is yung kung paano mo na i-allocate itong overhead na binigay sa'yo. Ang sabi, single cost pool lang and then allocated based on machine hours. So, ibig sabihin, since i-allocate daw yung overhead in a single cost pool, i-add mo lang lahat to. 250,000 plus 350 is 3, 4, 5, 600,000 plus 900,000 is 1,500,000 itong total. 1,500,000 ang yung total overhead. So, yun yung i-allocate mo. Sabi, it is allocated based on machine hours. So, asan ba ang machine hours? Ito. So, how do you allocate? Machine hours is allocated, yun daw ang gagamitin allocation basis. So, 1,500,000 yung na-compute mong total overhead, ito. 1,500,000 times 3 over 50. Yun yung allocation for KK. And then, 1,500,000 times 47 over 50. Yun yung allocation mo for GG. So, yun na, yung answer mo doon, i-add mo lang yung direct material cost ng bawat product. So, KK and GG. So, for example, dito sa kay KK, yung direct material cost niya, 100,000. Ang kanyang machine hours, 3,000. Ang kanyang direct labor cost, rather, ay 50,000. Plus, yung kanyang overhead allocation, yung 1.5 million times 3 over 50. So, i-add mo lang lahat yon, that will yield to your total cost for product KK. Dapat yan ay 240,000. Tama ba? Yeah, 240,000. Per unit na KK, for example, ano naman per unit ni KK, yung total cost, i-divide mo lang ng 500. So, 240,000 divided by 500 is 480. So, the same is true with GG. Ganun lang din ang gagawin. 310,000 plus 350,000 plus yung allocation ng overhead, 1.5 million times 47 over 50. So that will lead you to the answer 2,070,000. So 2,070,000, i-divide mo lang sa number of units produced for GG na 15,500, 133.55. Ayan, tama. 133.55. So that is the answer for requirement number 1. Next, under the activity-based costing system. Ang sabi, under the activity-based costing, magka-create daw ng dalawang cost pools, yung setup activity and design activity. And sabi niya, and machine hours will continue as the base for allocating the remaining overhead. So, wala tayo uling problema sa direct material and direct labor cost. Doon tayo sa may overhead. Ito. Setup related. Dito muna tayo sa setup related. 250,000 ang setup related na overhead. Paano daw yan i-allocate? It is based on your number of setup. Sabi dito, number of setups and design hours will be the activity drivers. So, 120 over 200 ang iyong proportion dyan sa product KK. 120 over 200 times 250,000. So, yun yung allocation mo for setup related ni KK. Pag design related naman, 350,000 times design hours times 6,000 divided by 10,000. Okay. For others naman, 900,000. Ang sabi dito, lahat daw and machine hours daw ang gagamitin for remaining overhead. So, 3 over 50 times yung other overhead, 900,000. So, i-total mo lang lahat yon. That will lead you to your answer. So, let us look at the solution. So, ito yung problem. Okay. Ito yung kanina sa problem number 1. Ay, sa requirement number 1. Ito yung sa requirement number 2. So, direct material, KK 100 plus 50. Overhead setup related. So, tama ba yung ginawa natin? Tama. 200 times, ang ginawa niya dito, 250,000 divided by 200 times 120. So, pwede rin. Mas madali kasi sa akin kapag yung 250 times 120 over 200. 150, okay. Design related, 350,000 times 6 over 10. So, tama. Ito yun. 6 over 10 to 10. For others naman, 900,000 yung overhead doon times 3 over 50. So, ito yun. 3 over 50. So, i-total mo lang lahat yun, 100 na direct materials, direct labor, 50,000, plus setup related overhead, 150,000, plus design related, 210,000, plus other overhead, 54,000. Ayun yung naka-allocate kay product KK. So, total factory cost niya, 564,000. So, this is our answer for requirement number 2, total cost. Ang sabi doon, tinatanong din ang kanyang unit cost, i-divide mo lang sa 500, yung units produced. So, 564 divided by 500 is 1,128 per unit. The same procedure ang gagamitin mo kay product GG. So, tingnan nga natin kung tama yung allocation. Itong direct material, tama ba to? 310, tama. Direct labor, 350, correct. Setup related, 250, allocate times 80 over 200, tama. Design related, 350 times 4 over 10, ito yon, tama. 4 over 10. 900,000 times 40, machine hours for 47 over 50. Tama. So, 310 plus 350 plus 100 plus 140 plus 846 is 1,746 divided by the number of units produced for GG, 15,500. So, the answer is 112.65, the cost per unit. So, that ends the discussion on practical applications on activity-based costing problems. So, any questions, i-post mo lang doon yung sa comment doon sa thread kung saan nakapost ito sa ating Google Classroom. And then, I will be providing some assignments and exercises para ma-assess natin if you already have learned something regarding activity-based costing. Thank you.